Hello my friends, and welcome to an autumnal book haul. The books that I'm getting, buying, acquiring right now are very autumnal feeling, which is not a big surprise because it's pretty much autumn. We're counting September as autumn here already at the beginning, but also this is my reading sweet spot, and I have a bunch of great sounding books that I want to share with you today. I think I've only read 1.5 of the books that I'm going to share, so a lot of new books to add to my TBR, which I'm excited about because these are just filling empty spots in my TBR that I've been needing something to fill in. So without further ado, we are going to get into the books that I was gifted first, because I am very grateful for all the books that get sent to me, and so I want to prioritize sharing them. So the first one, actually, I filmed a clip unboxing it because I knew I wouldn't be able to wait until I filmed this. So we'll hop over to that, and then I'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay guys, I just got a parcel in the mail and I'm much too excited to wait to open it, so we're gonna do that now. I kind of cheated already. I did start, I will be honest. No excuses. So I opened the small package and then I'll show you the bigger one, and got this beautiful little postcard note. The world was within reach. Anywhere I wanted to go, anything I wanted to see, I could open a book and there it would be. And that is a quote from Between the Shadows. And then, I don't know. Okay, so we've got Soul Threads. This is a short, comedic, romantic fantasy. Did someone say the word comedic? Yeah, it was me. That sounds super interesting. So these are by Grace Pringle. She messaged me. She is, if memory serves me correctly, she's a Christian Canadian homeschool mom, so we check a bunch of boxes together. Very excited about the whole comedic thing. Plus, so good for shorty September. This is 50-ish pages long. Okay, bam. Then there's Soul Threads book 2. So that was Soul Threads. I'm assuming this is one that comes after. Bone Threads. And I guess I should say a little bit about this. Pilder and Rilla Duskhand have been summoned to deal with mysterious magical orb. No problem. Rilla is an expert in magical artifacts, and Pilder is head of the Nascent Spells department at the Anthurium. Except when magic and wizards clash, things tend to not go as planned. Yeah, it's 50 pages. I don't want to know too much. That sounds cool. And then I got Bone Threads, which is book 2, which I'm assuming then comes after Soul Threads. It's book 2 in the Soul Threads series. Do I want to read the back? I probably don't, because I don't want to spoil anything from this first one, but it's short again, just over 100 pages. Definite another possibility for shorty September. But now I got this pretty package to show you. First of all, let's take a moment to just admire that. How cool. Love the little feather and all the little goodies kind of hidden in there. On the back, there's a sticker. It says, "The parchment and ink had voices, silent ones, and if I disturbed them, I was afraid I would stop hearing their whispers." And that's also from Between the Shadows. We've got a bookmark. "I am playing with fire, swimming with riptides. Nothing good will come of this. Nothing good will come of us." Also Between the Shadows. "He is forbidden history. She's a renegade reader." A renegade reader? What? Okay. I think there's also a sticker here. It just kind of slid down a little bit. "I am an unreliable narrator." I love unreliable narrators. Now I'm just wondering, is there an unreliable narrator in the book or not? Curious. Okay. And then we've got another, this is a cool card here. Oh, there's a map on the back. I'll show you in a minute. We've got a poem. "Ode to the crow in her sturdy nest. Ode to the morning's peace and rest. You are a bird of dark intent. You are the silence's torment. Yours is a lonely lament, a call to shake, rip, and rent. the dawn's slumbering calm. Early light in the waking night, the dawn and dusk unite. Stirring softly and glowing bright, the peace takes flight, shattered by a harsh bird's cry. Ode to the crow, ode to the morn, one cries out in scorn, the other to be born. Also from Between the Shadows. And then, yeah, like I said, there's also a map, which is, I really like it when I have a map that is not in the book, because then I can pull it out and look at it while I'm reading the book instead of flipping back and forth. So that's fun. There's one more thing in here. Oh, tabs. I love me some book tabs, and this is a really cool color palette. Oh, I love those. Okay, awesome. Now I'm gonna try to slide off this ribbon and feather. Definitely need 2 hands for this. This is so cool. I need to learn how to wrap things like this so I can stick little stuff in there. I am like the worst person when it comes to wrapping gifts. All right, let's do this here now. I should like keep this to analyze how to do it. Here we go. Between the Shadows, Renegades of Wrath, Book 1. Knowledge is rebellion, love is a death sentence. Solnia happily seeks her days helping her father in his weaving shop and reading about places she doesn't care to visit. Her quiet life is upended when she runs into a blind stranger in the street. Rose hints about a dark past and wrongs done to him consume Solnia with curiosity and pull her into a world filled with riddles. Why do his eyes glow in the dark? Why does he want the ancient texts kept in the city archives? While uncovering forgotten history and buried atrocities, Solnia is forced to ask herself, is her love for Ro worth dying for? I love this cover. I love like the book elements. There's like some little butterflies in there. Definitely let's try. Ooh, and it's signed. Love that. And she has a little note, a content preview. Rated PG for mystery, clean romance, magic, and adventure. Recommended reading age 12 and up. Written in Canadian English, which is, I think, good because a lot of people don't know the differences between Canadian English. Generally, I just write in American English. And so we've got the map there again. Part 1 is the nature of shadows as observed by Solnia Weaver. I thought I would read the first sentence. I struggled with my basket of goods in the crook of one arm, overwhelmed and crushed by the crowd taking over the city. Yeah, so I'm excited about this book. I'm excited to try these 2 out because they'll be perfect for Shorty September. I want to try just the first sentence of the first one. Oh, also signed. Nice. I think it's about time I took on more work is the first sentence of this. And yeah, like 50 pages or so I said, so that'll be a quick read. So thank you so much to Grace for sending me these. I plan on reading at least some of them really soon. Okay, yeah, so I've got Between the Shadows, Soul Threads, and Bone Threads. It feels perfect. I'm all about the fantasy, science fiction, mystery, suspense, classics. Like those are all some of my favorite genres, and they all scream fall to me, so it's perfect. The next one I was gifted is an Enclave book. I'm excited to read Beneath False Stars by S.D. Grimm. So this is going to be a series. It's the first book in Project Integration. The back says, what they don't see will hurt them. The day to open the centuries-old dome gates and reintegrate genetically engineered people back into normal society has arrived. That sounds interesting. There's one caveat. Their powers must remain suppressed. Amidst this Project Integration initiative, hacker Riley Stevens has her whole life planned out. The plan? Prevent a second universal tech war in 2 simple steps. First, help Project Integration Phase 1 succeed, but not for the reasons she pretends. Next, infiltrate the rebellion and sabotage Phase 2, the part that would grant people unbridled access to their superhuman abilities. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this cover. I love it. Who did the cover? They kind of often work with some of the same people. Oh, cover design by Lindsay Llewellyn. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I love it. She's a great artist. She's also a great writer. One of those annoying people that are talented at multiple things. So, excited to read this. Let's read the first sentence. My official personality flaw assessment came in today. A personality flaw assessment? Terrifying, but very interesting. Oh my goodness. What would your personality flaw assessment say? Mine would definitely be requires over communication, procrastination, easily annoyed, little sounds, repetitive things really bother me. So curious about this. So thank you to Enclave for that. And then I got a stack of books from Bethany House / Baker Publishing / Revel. These are some of their, I think they were June and July releases. So yeah, there's a stack here. I've read one of them and I'm so excited to read all the other ones. So the first one, I read this in July, Fire Mountain by Dana Mentink. I think that's also when it came out. And this one is, there is a volcano that's erupting. Our main character is a semi-driver. She wakes up after a crash and doesn't remember much of what happened before. And she was shot at. There was some gunshots in the truck, like through the door, and there's a baby strapped into her rig and she doesn't know why. So yeah, really enjoyed this. Can't wait to read more by this author. Let's see the first sentence. Cold and ice pick pain bored into Kit Gardio's temples. Oh, that's interesting because it starts out like cold, but it's Fire Mountain. It's very much not a cold book. This would work really well for my autumnal reading challenge because it's got fire on it. I think it's one of the ones I mentioned in my Substack post where I shared recommendations because one of the prompts is fire or rain, but got some fire there. This is the second book in the Secrets of Kincaid series, Shadowed Witness by Angela Carlisle. I really enjoyed book one. I picked it up after, at the beginning of the year, I did my Christian fiction collab video and someone mentioned book one and it sounded interesting, so I read it. And now I get to read book two, A Haunting Attack, A Killer in the Shadows, A Protective Love. Murder, that's what photographer Allie Jessup knows when she witnessed as she departed her studio one evening. Waking with bruises on her neck and a foggy memory, she believes she survived an attack, but everyone seems to think she simply sustained a head injury from falling down the stairs outside her studio. I really like that. It's kind of a little bit the same vibes as the beginning of Fire Mountain where she doesn't remember things. It gives like slightly unreliable narrator vibes, which I like. First sentence, lights, ? That's the first sentence. Check is the next one. Okay, doesn't tell me much, but really enjoyed book one. And so like mystery, suspense, this would be great for autumn as well. It does have like a little bit of leaves and trees here. That would work for the autumn bingo. It would also probably be creepy or atmospheric, so that one would work as well. Then I have The Atlas of Untold Stories by Sarah Brunswald. I've been wanting to read this book. I never even read The Divine Proverb of Struzal. I'm a little behind in her books. A literary journey beckons them, and many profoundly rewrite their stories. Chloe Vance, dreamer of the family, needs to tell her pragmatic mom, Eddie, that she has accepted a low-paying art instructor role at a Christian school in Prague. Are we going to Prague? Her oldest sister, Lauren, the responsible one, is doing all she can to hide the fact she's been fired for a foolish mistake and is desperately seeking her next career move. Meanwhile, Eddie, estranged from her own sister following their mother's recent death, is frankly in no mood for anything else to change. The one thing they can all agree on, life in books sure is easier to navigate than life in the real world. As the three women embark on a 9-day road trip to visit significant literary sites throughout America's heartland, they hope to find inspiration through the works and lives of literary greats. Oh, that sounds fun. I really liked The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp. So, oh, and it's got a map of their like road trip. I don't know where the start is, but it's kind of, Kansas City is starred and it's kind of all around Kansas City. Strange how an empty room could be haunted by sound, especially a sound as whispery and distant as the shift of sand between the bowls of an hourglass. Ooh, that's very poetic feeling. Expecting to love this book. Oh, I love this cover, the colors, and it's one of those books where like some of the things pop up. The sands of sea blue beach. So the birds and the words like are kind of embossed. They pop out by Rachel Hack. Yeah, I totally requested this one based on the colors on the cover. Can anything rekindle the summer love between former sweethearts facing old wounds and a divided town? Emery Quinn finds herself at a crossroads between her career and complex family dynamics. Struggling to connect with her blended family and ready for a fresh start, Emery accepts the position of editor-in-chief at the Sea Blue Beach Gazette. Upon her return at the Sands Motor Motel, she is flooded with bittersweet memories of her late mother and past regrets from a long ago summer. Okay, I've never read anything by this author. Like I said, it's solely a cover interest. Chapter 1 is Emery. Now, New Year's Eve is when it's set. Well, she did not see this coming. I like those hook sentences. I think maybe, no, there's a couple historical ones that I have here. These Blue Mountains by Sarah Loden Thomas. A moving story of love, betrayal, and the enduring power of hope in the face of darkness. German pianist Hedda's world collapsed when her fiancé Fritz vanished after being sent to an enemy alien camp in the United States during the Great War. I'm struggling with the font they used for the back here. It's really hard for me to read. 15 years later, in 1932, Hedda is stunned to see Fritz's name in a photograph of an American memorial for a German seaman who died near Asheville, North Carolina. Determined to reclaim his body and bring closure to his ailing mother, Hedda travels to the US. Her quest takes a shocking turn when, rather than Fritz's body, his casket contains the remains of a woman who died under mysterious circumstances. Oh, that sounds interesting. Let's try this first sentence. We're in Berlin, Germany, November 24th, 1932. Hedda slipped from the frigid air into the warmth of the kitchen and snugged the door shut behind her. Okay, that's not super drawing me in, but it's not bad. Then I have Of Silver and Secrets by Michelle Greep. This is Time's Lost Treasures book 2. I have not read book 1. Have I read any of her books? I have wanted to read her books. She's one of those authors that I just haven't read from for some reason. Buried underneath are truths bent on keeping them apart. I don't know how much to read because it is book 2 and I haven't read book 1, so I don't know what's spoilery, but we're set in 1889 Victorian England. Eva is haunted by guilt over her parents' deaths while struggling to care for her blind sister and manage her family's crumbling estate. I mean, I'm kind of just all about Victorian England, so that sounds interesting. We're in Royston, England, October 1889. The end of Eva's world started with a window she never should have left open. Ooh, that's a good first sentence. I need to get my hands on book 1. Another, I think World War II is From the Valley We Rise by Elizabeth Muser. Oh, this book has very interesting texture. It's like kind of cloth, which kind of makes the words hard to read, but I like that. In the heart of war-torn France, Isabelle's resolve is tested after her father sacrifices his life to protect her involvement in the French resistance. Heartbroken, Isabelle becomes more dedicated to hiding Jewish children in and near the village of Sisterin, despite the growing danger when she discovers a traitor within the resistance ranks. Oh, and then there's like maybe 2 more people that we have perspectives of. Very excited because we are doing kind of like this time period in our homeschool this year. Let's see what the first sentence is. Let's skip the prologue, go to part 1. We're in France, July 21st, 1944. Isabelle shivered despite the almost debilitating heat of a late July night in the Basses Alps of Sisterin. Probably mispronounced all that. And then we got one more World War II. The Codebreaker's Daughter by Amy Lynn Green. Once again, the words that pop out, even on the side. I love that. That's just like an extra little thing. In the heart of the U.S. Capitol, Dina, her role for the Office of Strategic Services isn't the thrilling espionage career she dreamed of. Instead, she spends her days crafting rumors aimed at undermining Axis morale. As she navigates her duties, she uncovers a startling revelation. Her mother, Lillian, was once a codebreaker, cracking military ciphers during the Great War, alongside some of the nation's most brilliant minds. Oh, so we're in 1944. I wonder if we flip back and forth at all? Yeah, we do. 1917 and 1944, at the beginning at least. Oh, that sounds interesting. Okay. The first chapter is Dina/Dinah's perspective. As the bell above the drugstore gave its apologetic half jingle, Dina Kendall turned casually on her stool to see who else had ventured out on such a blustery winter afternoon. Okay. Gotta figure out how to pronounce her name, because this is one of those names that I know people that have it spelt like this and pronounce it differently. Those kinds of names are always a bit of a struggle. Definitely excited to read all those books. Thank you to those who gifted them. And now we will get into the ones that I have purchased, starting with the independently published / small publisher ones, because I want to give them time in the spotlight. I'm very excited to read this duology, and this is Quarter Labyrinth by Victoria McCombs. First to reach the center, alive wins. Feels like it's got like Hunger Games-esque vibes going on. She is just one of my favorite authors. The second book is coming out, I think, in the next week, so I want to order it as well. She has different covers for the paperback versus the hardcover, and I really liked the paperback ones, which is good because it ends up being cheaper. So I'm gonna order the second book as soon as I can. Every 4 years, the labyrinth awakens. It shifts location, resets its deadly puzzles, and demands a new game. The rich pay for clues to find it and keys to get in, while the poor fight for entrance. This year, the first to reach the center wins control over the renowned trade vessels. Strange, because Wren specifically remembers her father. The captain promised her those ships, but her father had the misfortune of going missing before revealing Wren as his hidden heir, and she's never actually met him. Only through scraps of letters she keeps in a trunk, promising he'd return to the island for her someday. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's interesting. I find her books so fast-paced. Mortal Queens, Lethal Kings, Rune, Rogue Secreto, some of my favorites of hers, and I just have a feeling this duology is going to be up there as well. The sky turned violet as the countdown in my head reached its end. Yes, that sucks me in. Then I have 2 short story collections by 20 Hills Publishing. I love this. This is There Will Be Wolves. So these are both anthologies in their Black and Gold series. So, I mean, it's short stories. This one is a collection of short stories and poetry. Multiple authors weave fantastical tales from comedy to horror. A vampire and a werewolf duo pull off an art gallery heist, but the vampire almost always ruins everything, as usual. The case of Jack the Ripper is one of the most famous unsolved mysteries of England, but no one talks about the Canis lupus hairs found on the bodies. Yeah, so it's just a collection of short stories involving wolves. Nice little moon there. So we've got some poems, some short stories. I'm excited about it. A lot of the authors that publish with 20 Hills are believers, and this one was on sale when I bought it, hence why I wanted to grab it. And then there's also What Darkness Fears. There are some authors in here that I know that I have liked before. The tagline for this one is Light Dawns in Darkness. Some of the authors that I've read from before include, well, Anne J. Hill. She is the one that runs 20 Hills Publishing. AJ Skelly, Mariah Chavez, Hannah Carter. Yeah, they have some stories in here, plus there's tons more, and I've enjoyed what I've read from 20 Hills before. Both of these kind of, because there's like the light versus darkness, and we've got wolves, these feel very autumnal to me as well, so hopefully I can read these soonish. This one has some leaves on it, so it would work for the autumn bingo. That's what I was actually thinking of using this one for. Well, originally I was thinking maybe orange, but it's kind of more red. There's a little bit of orange down here. Some of them are orange. I don't know, that might be orange or red. or leaves. And then yeah, this one has some leaves. This one has some leaves. They also have like very atmospheric things going on, a little bit creepy. So might use those for that. Then I have a bind up of 2 classics. I got Freckles and A Girl of the Limberlost by Jean Stratton Porter. I have been wanting to read these and I have them on ebook. And I finally just decided, you know what, obviously I need the physical copy in order to read them. So yeah, I really enjoy this cover as well. The first sentence of Freckles is, Freckles came down the corduroy that crosses the lower end of the Limberlost. About time I finally get to this. Unfortunately, it now doesn't fit in my DIY literature degree Victorian era, but oh well. Then a friend was thrifting and grabbed 2 books for me. She texted me and was like, do you want these? So I got The Blythes Are Quoted by L.M. Montgomery, which is awesome. Is this short stories? I don't even know what this is. I've heard very conflicting things. There's a sticker on it. Oh no, and it's peeling off. Okay, well, we're just gonna leave it. It's this publication of Montgomery's rediscovered original work, previously published only in severely abridged form as The Road to Yesterday, invites readers to return to her earlier books with a renewed appreciation and perspective. Okay, I'm not really sure what it is, but let's read the first sentence. Either it's the first sentence of a short story. The first half of this book deals with life before the First World War. The second part deals with it after the war. Okay, so I think it's just a full story. You are going to board at Long Alex, exclaimed Mr. Sheldon in amazement. Okay, doesn't give me much, but that's okay. And then she also found a copy of Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. So I'm not at the point of reading this one yet, but it's a nice floppy edition. It looks like it's never been read. Same with The Blythes Are Quoted. It's in just like perfect condition. And it was $2. Yeah, so I'm currently reading a Dickens right now. It'll be a little bit before I get to Little Dorrit, but let's see the first sentence. 30 years ago, Marseille lay burning in the sun one day. I don't know anything about this one. It follows Arthur, who returning to England after many years abroad, takes a kindly interest in Amy Dorrit, his mother's seamstress, who was born and raised in the Marshalsea, where her father has long been imprisoned for debt. Oh, okay. I'm sure it will just be like more of what Dickens is. I've got one more stack of books here. The first one, I did share a teeny little clip of it in a video when I was reading popular fantasy books because I found it in a little free library. How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This might be terrible. I am not endorsing this book in any way. It's supposed to be kind of thriller, horror, or something. I was just like, hey, I've seen it online. It might be good for this time of year. It might be terrible. When Louise finds out that her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home, stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. Oh yeah, creep factor. She doesn't want to learn how to live without the 2 people who knew her and loved her best in the world. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother, who never left their hometown. Okay, let's just see what the first sentence is. The call came as Louise desperately tried to convince her daughter that she was not going to like the Velveteen Rabbit. Wait, that's chapter 2. That was chapter 2. Oh, chapter 1. Louise thought it might not go well, so she told her parents she was pregnant over the phone from 3,000 miles away in San Francisco. I don't know. I'll give it a try. Going in with low expectations. And then the last few I got off of Book Outlet, kind of all for our homeschool. I got a copy of the Quran. This is the Muslims' Bible equivalent, I think. It was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel 1,400 years ago. It's 114 chapters. Recount the narrative central to the Muslim belief. Just as we have moved cities and have moved somewhere where there's like so many different cultures, I would like to learn more about what other religions believe so I can understand where they're coming from. So yeah, I saw this on Book Outlet and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this. I think it will be interesting. Then I got Bomb by Steve Sheenkin. I've heard good things about this. This is about the race to build the atomic bomb. I think it's like non-fiction with lots of pictures but kind of maybe told in story form. In December 1938, a chemist in a German laboratory made a shocking discovery. When placed next to radioactive material, a uranium atom split in two. This is the story of the plotting, the risk-taking, the deceit, and the genius that created the world's most formidable weapon. This is the story of the atomic bomb. So yeah, since we're studying this time in history, thought I would grab this. I got 2 more books to share, but my battery's gonna die, so I will change it. Okay, yeah, like I said, 2 more books. The next one is ADHD is Awesome. I got this from the library, started reading it. I've now put my bookmark in there. I'm like 20-30% through or so. Such a great book by, it's really mostly Penn Holderness, about his experience with ADHD. And he's kind of designed it in a very colorful way with lots of pictures. He's designed it for people with ADHD to be able to read it. Yeah, so I've got 1 kid officially diagnosed with ADHD, 1 that is suspected, and I also kind of wonder about myself. So this has just been good, and his stories are hilarious. It's looks at the hard parts of ADHD, but also the benefits. If you haven't heard of Penn Holderness, you've probably heard of the Holderness family. They're on YouTube. I don't know, I feel like they got their start with the Christmas Jammies song. Penn and his wife Kim were on The Amazing Race one year, which I've never actually watched that season. I would really like to. Yeah, highly recommend this if you or someone you know has ADHD. My plan is to finish it this year and then get my diagnosed ADHD kid to read it for school for one of the subjects, because I think it will be encouraging, and like it's just like there's like laugh out loud moments. It's hilarious. And then the last book is, let's just end on kind of a hard topic. Here we've got The War to End All Wars, World War I. This is by Russell Friedman. In my last book haul, I think it was, I shared, what's it called? Honey for a Child's Heart, which is a collection, it's book recommendations really. And he was really recommended for nonfiction, and Book Outlet had this one. And then it turns out we actually own a different one of his books in our house. So there's a lot of photographs and like historical information about World War I. So I think that will be good for us to use for this year. And that is my book haul. So many good books that I'm excited to read. Yeah, so I'm like not quite halfway through this one, and then I've read, where is it? This one. Other than that, I want to read all the rest of them. I would love to read them this fall, but that probably won't quite happen. Let me know if any of these really piqued your interest, what you plan on reading or purchasing this fall. I always love to chat about books with you guys in the comments.